Hello students, this is your Bhushan sir. Today we shall discuss on another new topic of applied environmental biology, that is solid waste management. Generally, waste refers to any unwanted materials. If this unused or unwanted material are in the form of solids, they are called solid waste. This solid waste arises from human activities. For example, waste paper, agricultural waste, mining waste, industrial waste, etc. In our medieval days, the discarded waste in the streets led to the breeding of vector animals like rats and fleas. This further had led to the arisal of around 22 human diseases, soil and water pollutions as well. This is a nuisance and a great threat to human life. Coming on to the sources of this solid waste. As we know that human activities at various places are the chief sources of for the generation of solid waste. It includes domestic or residential sources such as food waste, paper waste, garden trimming, glass, waste oil, empty containers, etc. These wastes are combustible or non-combustible. The next type of sources are commercial waste. It includes waste generated at commercial places like stores, restaurants, hotels, and even in industries. The other type of solid waste include mixed waste that are not separated, putrescible waste that include food waste that are decomposable, etc. Industrial waste includes waste generated by the government buildings, industries, and institutional waste includes schools, hospitals, etc. The industrial waste includes stones, clay, glass products, paints, etc. Whereas the agricultural waste includes waste of the plantlets, harvest waste, then animal waste, etc. So, the definition of solid waste management or garbage management is a scientific method of collection, transport, and processing or disposal and management of the solid waste. Solid waste majorly includes three scientific methods and stages. Number one, collection and transport of the waste. Number two, disposal methods. And number three, recovery stages. Students, remember, solid waste management is a scientific method where we collect the waste, transport the waste, dispose the waste, and recovery the energy and resources from it. We shall understand one by one now. Step one is collection of solid waste. It includes picking up of solid waste from the sources, handling and emptying of truck that carries solid waste from the sources. Sources of solid waste includes curbs, alleys, and backyards. Curbs includes manual or mechanical collection and the storage of waste. Alleys refers to narrow passage between the buildings and the waste of such passage. We call it as alleys waste. Then backyard includes collector of garbages which is emptied from the location and set the containers back at its place. The next step of solid waste management is transportation. In this stage, standard vehicles are used to carry the waste from the source of generation of waste. The vehicles may be closed bodies, recycling trucks that avoids the spillage of waste on the roads. Then recycling trailers, flatbed trucks, open recycling trucks, and compartmentalized trailers that carries the garbage without any spillage. Transportation includes hauler container systems. In this system, the container with the garbage is picked up and hauled off or decanted off to the disposal area where the container is emptied. Later, it is returned back to the original location. Here is the picture that shows the hauler container system where the waste is thrown out to the disposal area and the empty container is kept back to its original position. The advantages of hauler container system includes number one, high rate of collection of waste in the hauler container system. Number two, it eliminates the spillage of waste in the containers. Number three, it is a flexible method. Coming on to the disadvantage of hauler container system, that includes low utilization of this technology. The next stage of solid waste management is disposal methods. First is collection of waste. Second is transportation of waste. Third step is disposal methods. It includes the scientific method of disposal of segregated waste. You all may be aware of various colored trash cans or dustbins which are used to collect and dispose the solid waste. The disposal method includes number one, open dumping method. It is an unscientific traditional method of solid waste disposal. The waste is dumped openly in certain selected areas and it is widely used method in expensive and a conventional method also. It simply refers to throwing of the waste wherever we want in an open place. The open dumping waste includes street sweepings, ashes, non-combustible rubbish, etc. Thus, it spreads a large area and provide the harborage for many vector insects, rats, and other disease-causing worms. It causes a nuisance and hazardous odor affecting the health of the people of surrounding. The advantage of open dumping method is it includes all kind of solid waste that causes less health related problems and needs less labor and supervision also. Coming on to the disadvantages of open dumping method, it includes attraction of vector flies like mosquitoes, house flies, then rats and dogs, etc., that spreads the diseases. It becomes a site for breeding of these animals and insects. It causes air pollution, land pollution, affecting the health of the surrounding human beings and even animals. The next disposal method is sanitary landfilling. It is a scientific method of disposal of solid waste on land without creating any nuisance or hazards to the public health. The site of disposal here includes any dry area or even a trench or any depressed land. All these dry lands are pre-planned sites where the waste is dumped and compacted by rolling process by using the bulldozers. The waste is first collected, then compacted by using the bulldozers. After the compaction of the waste, the layer of earth or soil or blanket, what we call, is added or covered over the garbage every day. The major materials of blanket here simply refers to a cover over the waste. It includes chipped wood, then fixed chemicals, etc. Students, here in the picture of the slide, you can see sanitary landfill method, where bulldozers and trucks are used to compact the waste over which a layer of soil or the earth is added, which acts as a blanket. The waste of compacted area on daily basis, along with the blanket cover, here blanket refers to the soil cover, is called daily cell. A pictorial representation of daily cell is seen here in the picture of the slide. Coming on to the advantages of landfills. It includes the burial of solid waste can produce the energy, thus conserves the landfill energy. Next is the waste products are converted into another usable form of energy. Since landfill are at pre-planned specific sites, it is easy to monitor also. The landfill sites can be used as parks or farming lands in the future. The recyclable materials that are used from landfill areas, then the organic waste materials are separated and used for the compost production. The natural biofuel gas like methane is produced by these landfill sites. Coming on to the disadvantages of landfills, it includes poor operation strategies of landfills, pollutes the environment heavily like air, water, soil. Hazardous chemicals leach into the neighboring areas and affect the groundwater system. Then it causes the nuisance of insects and rodents that becomes more causative factor of disease outbreaks. The next method of disposal is incineration. Incineration is a waste treatment process wherein the combustion or burning of organic waste materials is done in a closed system. Hence, it is also called as thermal treatment process. Here, the waste materials are converted into ashes, gases, or even into heat energy. Down the slide, here is a picture of incinerator system. Incineration is also an energy recovery process where waste is converted into energy, that is W2E technology. Especially hot gases are produced in this particular technology that are used for the generation of electricity by turning the turbines. The first incinerator for the waste disposal were built in Nottingham in 1874 by Albert Fryer. Originally, these incinerators were called distractors. The incinerator has an outer metal barrel with an exhaust outlet. The material, like metal barrel, will prevent the spread of burning materials within the incinerator. There is another type of incinerator called moving grat incinerator that enables the movement of the waste while burning itself within the incinerator system. This allows more efficient and complete combustion of the waste so that the energy what we obtain of it is complete. There is another incinerator type called rotary kiln, which is used in large industrial plants. It basically has two chambers, which are called as primary chamber and secondary chamber. The primary chamber converts the solid waste into gases, whereas in the secondary chamber, the gases are subjected for combustion reaction, which is further utilized for the generation of electricity. The next disposal method and energy recovery phase is called pyrolysis. It is also a heat treatment method where solid wastes are heated at a very high temperature but in the absence of air in a closed system. Here, generally 500 to 1000 degrees centigrades of heat is utilized. The byproducts of pyrolysis may be a gas or a liquid or even a char. Gas is a mixture of hydrogen, carbon dioxide, methane, and carbon monoxide. Liquid includes light oil, sometimes semi-solid tar, acids, alcohols, etc. Char is an inert material left after the complete burning of a carbon-based compound. Students, to cite an example here, if we burn a cloth made up of either nylon or a plastic, whatever the left out after the complete burning of this material is called as the char. The next method of disposal and recovery stage is composting. Composting is an excellent method of recycling of waste that are biodegradable. This biodegradable waste includes organic matter waste such as left out or waste food, yard waste, animal waste, etc. These wastes are decomposed into a fine soil-like nutrient material which is commonly called as humus. It is done by the help of microorganisms. This humus soil is a nutrient-rich soil which is used as manure for gardening purposes. So, the process of composting is technically defined as a process in which organic waste matter is decomposed and converted into mineral-rich humus. This end product of humus is also called as compost, a rich fertilizer, and the process is called composting. There are many methods of composting, but here we shall understand three methods which are commonly used in composting technique, namely composting by trenching, composting by using open windows, and third one is composting by mechanical method. Here in the picture of the slide, you can see the compost fertilizer. As the concept of composting is important for short notes, we shall understand in detail the concept of composting methods. The first method to start is composting by trenching. In this method, trenches of 3 to 12 meter long, 2 to 3 meter wide, and 1 to 2 meter deep were made with a space of 2 meters in between. Later, these trenches were filled with a dry solid waste which are biodegradable with 15 centimeter layer thick, upon which around 5 centimeters thick soil, animal dung waste, is spread in the form of slurry or semi-liquid form. And on its top, 10 to 30 centimeters thick soil layer is spread to prevent the attack or breeding of flies. Here in the picture, we can see a setup of composting by trenching method. The setup of these trenches is left for about 2 to 3 days, during which the organic matter gets decomposed by the help of microorganisms. During the process of natural decomposition, heat is generated that reaches to a temperature of 75 degrees centigrades. This temperature stops generally the breeding of vector flies. The complete setup is left undisturbed for about 4 to 6 months period. Thus, the microbial action on the organic matter gets activated, which will change the waste into a brown colored, odorless, powdery soil called as the humus or the compost, which has a high nitrogen content in it, which is good to use as a valuable natural fertilizer. The same method of trenching of compost technique is also used for the indoor method of compost. In this method, a brick-lined pit of 3 meter long, 3 meter wide, 1 meter depth is made. These trenches on tanks are filled further with the organic solid waste with 10 centimeters height, alternated with the soil and animal dung waste. The system is left for about a few weeks of time. Later, between 8 to 12 weeks period, the material is turned so as to get the complete compost. The second method of composting is open window composting method. In this method, Non-degradable waste like the glass pieces, stones, plastics, etc. are first removed or separated, and the left out organic waste is then piled to 1 meter height, and these piles were later covered with the soil, animal dung, etc. for biodegradation process to get the humus. So here the waste is just dumped and piled, over which a layer of the soil and the animal dung is utilized as a cover. In this method also, microbial degradation of organic waste takes place with alternative aerobic and anaerobic conditions. The next method of composting is mechanical composting method. It is an efficient method where electricity is used to create heat required for the process of decomposition. It is widely used to degrade the waste of restaurants, hotels, hospitals, schools, etc. Next, coming on to the benefits of composting method, which includes number one, it reduces the pollution caused by the organic solid waste, so the landfills gets reduced. It provides the nutrient-rich humus soil, which is obtained by a natural process. It increases the beneficial soil microbes and organisms. It suppresses the plant diseases. It reduces the usage of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. It protects the soil from erosion and assists in pollution remediation. Students, in place of soil microbes, if we could use earthworms in bringing in the process of composting, then this process of composting could be called as vermicomposting. Why only earthworms are widely used in this technology? It is because of the biology of earthworms. As we know, earthworms are the farmer friends. They feed on large soil particles and organic waste, convert them into their excretory waste called vermicastings. These vermicasts are soft nutrient soil or worm manures. For vermicomposting, earthworm species of Acinia or Dendrobina are widely used because of their voracious feeding habits. The vermicompost is a nutrient-rich organic fertilizer that can be easily absorbed by the plants as it has beneficial microbes in it. The composition of vermicompost commonly includes organic carbon of 9 to 17%, nitrogen of 2%, phosphorus of 1.5%, potassium of 0.6%, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, copper, iron, and zinc in parts per million. After we understanding the collection and transport of solid waste, that is step 1, disposal methods, that includes step 2. The third step that we shall understand now is recovery stage of solid waste management. Regain of either energy or resources from the solid waste is generally called recovery stage. Recovery of useful materials from the waste and recycling or reuse of these products is called recovery of resources. It includes 3R principle or concept of reduction, recycle and reuse. Reduction refers to minimum usage of raw materials that will decrease the production of waste itself. For example, reduced demand of any metallic product will decrease the mining of this metal itself. The next is recycle process. It refers to the physical use of the products again. For example, recycle of empty plastics, glass containers, papers, wooden products, etc. These materials that are utilized for recycle process are generally called as recyclates. According to the recyclates, we have paper recycling, steel recycling, aluminium recycling, glass recycling, plastic recycling, etc. In plastic recycling, the waste plastics are collected first, then later subjected for compact process, wherein the compacted plastics were converted into large cubes called bales. These are then transported to the industries where they are melted and molded into new shapes. Students, here in the picture, you can see a huge bale of plastic piles. The next R stands for reuse. It refers to the reuse of materials in their original form itself instead of throwing them as waste. For example, travel washable mugs, storage bags, and napkins. Students, we also have learnt about the recovery of energy from the waste, that is E from W. In this concept of disposal, where we have learnt about incineration, pyrolysis, then composting, vermicomposting, etc. They are all the different methods, not only of disposal but also are of recovery of energy from those resources of waste. So, after we understanding the concept of solid waste management, we shall now concentrate on the next subtopic under the chapter is ecological sanitation, or in short it is called ECOSAN. It is also called as ecological composting or composting toilets or ecological toilets. These are all the different synonym names which are given for the ecological sanitation process. ECOSAN, in short, is an environment-friendly, sustainable sanitation system. It includes usage of the human waste as an agricultural resource. I mean, in this method, nutrients present in the human waste are recovered and reused. Also, the conservation of water is done, and the environment is also protected from the pollution. Why have we thought of ECOSAN, that is ecological toilets? The reason are many. For example, decline of fertility of land, increased cost of artificial fertilizers, etc., has led to the economic problems to our farmers of urban areas. So was the need of a plan of ECOSAN or ecological toilets. Ecological sanitation or latrines majorly prevents the pollution, saves the water, promotes the zero waste management, and more importantly, it helps in the production of the food itself. In ECOSAN, the latrines were first constructed in ecological fields, that is open fields, with two compartments of shitting, that is commodes. Let us consider them as A and B for our convenience. Students, here in the picture at the top, you can find two commodes of A and B. When a person makes use of partition A first, after the process of shitting, he has to cover it with the soil, sawdust, and even lime or calcium carbonate water. Next time, the alternative partition of B should be used by the same man. Likewise, alternative chambers should be used. During this gap period, the waste of man gets decomposed into humus by the soil microbes. Until the waste gets converted into a mineralized humus, the chamber are incubated. Mean to say, they are just kept aside without usage. Now, the humus, once after its formation is digged out and removed, sprayed onto the neighboring agricultural land for the cultivation. You can see the same in the picture above in the slide. ECOSAN includes the following stages, namely, number one, dehydration stage, wherein the moisture of the waste is reduced to 25% due to the addition of the dry ash or sawdust or husk. So, the volume of waste gets reduced within the compartment. The next stage of ECOSAN is composting or decomposition stage. In this stage, the organic human waste gets converted into mineralized humus by the use of microorganisms. They also maintain certain of the physical parameters and chemical parameters of the soil also. The next stage is aeration. In this stage, the aerobic microbes along with the air decomposes the waste, thus odor-free humus gets formed. Also, the temperature of 60 degrees centigrade is maintained that activates only aerobic useful microbes. The unpleasant waste is converted into mineralized humus that is removed out and used as the manure on the neighboring landscape. With this, we are completing the concept of ecological sanitation and solid waste management. Both the concepts are important for short notes as well as long answer questions. Students, your queries and critics can be posted to my personal WhatsApp number. Happy day ahead, students. Thank you all.